So, Anthony, I guess I want to start asking a little bit about how all this got started. Was your interest in this coming from the book? Was there already a script when you got into it?
So in 2018, the producers sent me an early version of the script. I read it and I was so captivated, I was so moved by the character of Jacqueline. I felt like I connected so deeply with it. You know, I grew up in Singapore, and I'm an immigrant as well. I lived in UK for like 17 years. I've always felt I was trying to find a sense of identity. I felt like an outsider. And looking at all my films, they feel like I've all made films about outsiders. And I really connected with the humanity of Jacqueline's story.
And what are the challenges of something like this, for both you and for Cynthia, of telling a story where the main character is so kind of trying to hold everything inside, like to not let anyone see what's going on inside of her and what her experiences are?
I guess the challenge is to there's like a balance that you have to run, whereby it doesn't end up feeling like a wall between whoever's watching and seeing it and the person who you're trying to meet. I think when we hide things, we actually don't do a very good job of hiding it. And so it's about trying to allow some of the mystery to come through a little bit without spilling it all out at once. And I think every time you meet her, she opens up just a little bit more, so you get to meet her a bit more. More than anything, I loved getting to know her and finding out what her coping mechanisms were and finding out what her quirks were and what made her tick and how she would defend herself, how she would protect herself. Because that is as much a way in as the words that she speaks, I think, yeah.
So how do you do that kind of work? How do you figure those things out? What kind of, are you doing research into people who have experienced this kind of stuff, or?
Yes, and I think I guess I looked inwards as well. I know the feeling of feeling outside. I know the feeling of being an other. I know the feeling of dealing with traumatic experiences. And it's, I guess, a case of trying to be brave enough to allow those memories to come forward and allow those experiences to inform how you behave and how you communicate, and then just trying to tell the truth of that.
So Alia, what did you respond to in this material that made you want to make the movie?
Well, it was shooting in Greece, which I said, why not? No, I mean, the script is so beautiful. I've said it before, but when a script is really good, you kind of read it as an experience almost. You read it so quickly that you can just imagine it already happening. And I just really responded to the story. I think it's simple and yet profound at the same time. An opportunity to work with both of these people, that I'm a big fan of both of their work. And I like to play characters that it feels like it's a step forward in some evolution in my life. And she has some kind of guard, even if it's with a smile, the way she does it. And I could relate to that. So it was a beautiful wall to kind of work up against as an actor.
So you mentioned shooting in Greece. What did shooting in Greece give the movie? How did that inform it?
I think it's so important. You know, the novel was set in Greece. We were very loyal to the novel. You know, the screenplay is set in Greece. I would like to say, like, if you look at the mise-en-scène, how we shot the landscapes, you know, the island, you know, the Greek landscapes, you know, it's very much a character of the film. I think we very much were trying to encapsulate the emotions of what Jacqueline was going through, like through the landscape as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, what kinds of conversations did you have with your director of photography about what you wanted the imagery to express?
I think the first thing I told her was, this film needs to be beautiful, but it can't be too beautiful. You know, I'm not here to do a sort of like postcard version of Greece. I think it's very important that, you know, we actually see the juxtaposition of Jacqueline versus this beautiful, amazing landscape with rich tourists, you know, like enjoying their holidays. I think it's very important that we feel, you know, that tension, that grit. And it's really man, you know, like versus the landscape, man versus nature. I think that's how I've actually framed a lot of the mise-en-scène in this film.
Yeah, talk a little bit about how the three of you work together to create, you know, there's a lot of scenes in this movie that I just feel like are so emotionally naked, and I feel like the actors are very vulnerable. And so what kind of environment do you create for them, and what are you both looking for from him to kind of create those moments?
I think what was great is that we had quite a small crew.
Yeah.
We had quite a tight crew, but everyone was so passionate and devoted. Everyone was emotionally invested in this film, and that was great. A lot of times when we're shooting in a cave or by the sea, it's not lots of people. It's just a handful of people, and in a split second, everyone disappears and the camera rolls.
And I think everyone in our cast and crew were really sensitive to what was necessary in the moment. So, say for instance, if I had come off a scene that was really tough and traumatic, then and I have to go and de-rig and get ready and that's the end of the day, my makeup artist knows that this is probably not the time to have lots of conversation, but she somehow infuses the space with lots of safety and gentleness and kindness. So I feel safe anyway. And if it's a vulnerable scene, especially the bathroom scene, everyone knew what the camera's down, and if it's just a couple of people in the room, and I always felt really safe. And obviously these two make it feel very safe, and we had moments where it's just sitting in silence, saying nothing, and that also sort of informs the moment and the energy in the space that we're working in. Yeah.
I think what's great is that we shot so many scenes by the sea.
Yeah.
So you constantly could hear the
Water.
lapping of the waves, the water, and I don't know, I find it quite therapeutic.
Yeah.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah.
Very relaxing.
Well, and how delicate is the editing on a movie like this? Because I feel like it's so precisely emotionally calibrated, this movie, but just a few frames here, a few frames there, I feel like could have a very, very different effect.
It was quite a long process, but in a way it's quite short, because we did shoot the film like in March, we wrapped the film in May, and now we're in Sundance in January.
Yeah.
But
Pretty good.
Compared to a lot of my like other films, I think what was really hard to calibrate was finding the balance between the present day and the flashbacks.
Yeah.
And you're right to say, it is very, very delicate. And there's so much sound work that we are thinking about, and we're very, very careful about, thinking about, how much we reveal and how much we don't reveal. But my films have always been very, very restrained. But
the editing was like to the second. We took a long time and lots of conversation.
Even like the white shots, why certain things should play in a very poetic way in the white shots. But if it's too long, you feel like
it goes over into something too far. Yeah,
the energy has gone. But if it's too short, the beauty of it and the tension of the imagery isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's the hardest edit I've ever done. I'll be really honest.
Wow.
It feels simple, but
no, that's the most
sometimes-
difficult stuff to do, though. Yeah.
Sometimes the simplest stuff are the hardest to do.
That's right.